Well, for generations, farmers have been caring for the land, the water, and their environmental resources. And here to share more about how dairy farmers in our state are leading Wisconsin's sustainability efforts is the 72nd Allison Dairyland, Abigail Martin. Good morning to you, Abigail.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
I'm so excited because you've brought kind of a show and tell for us today.
Definitely,
So we're
yes.
looking forward to that. But first, can you just share a little bit about why caring for the environment is so important for our state's dairy farmers?
Well, you've got it exactly right. Farms have been around for generations here in Wisconsin, and these farmers, they want to ensure their farm is around for the next generation and future generations to come. So they really need to make sure that the soil is healthy to grow fruits and vegetables and crops, and the water is clean for their animals to drink on their farm. So they really want to care for those resources because it's part of their job. And the United States dairy farmers have seen improvement. They've reduced their carbon footprint by nearly 25% since 2007.
Wow, that's really significant.
Definitely.
So they're definitely taking a lot of steps in the right direction.
Right, and it's different depending on what farm. So no two farms here in Wisconsin are alike, whether they are different sizes, different production methods, all are taking whatever steps work for them. Like on my family's farm, we're recycling our water. So we're using the water once to cool our milk in our stainless steel pipes, and then to wash down all of our milking equipment afterwards. So really reusing our resources that we have on our land.
Exactly, and so you said so you use that method on your farm, but you know, what are some of the methods that are other methods that are good environmental stewards as far as the farmers go?
So for example, in the middle of the state, I talked with one potato farmer, and they're planting native wild species of grasses around the edges of their field to invite the wildlife and the native ecosystems back to the edges of their farm, and really making sure they're considering that. Also, some farmers are using computer-based irrigation methods to make sure that they're only watering their fields when the crops really need the water.
Sure, excellent. So like you said, just something different for every farm, just completely depending on, you know, what they're doing and what their needs are.
What works for them.
Right. Okay, and so like we said, you brought this model along.
Yes.
So we're really excited. You're going to demonstrate one method that farmers are using to care for their land. So can you tell us what this is all about?
Definitely. So this is another example that a farmer may do. Some farmers are planting cover crops. And so a cover crop, like the name implies, covers the ground completely. So this is my example of my cover crop over here. You can't see any of the topsoil. And there's many benefits to cover crops, but one of them is keeping the topsoil in place because those roots are all covering the ground, and it's going to help prevent erosion.
Sure.
So we're going to demonstrate what happens when there's a heavy rainfall. So this is my field without cover crops over here, and you could see instantly that all of the sediment is just running right out of the field.
Yep.
Correct. And so when we water with the cover crops, you can see that it's going to be soaking into the ground much more, and the water that's coming out the end is much more free of sediment because the topsoil is staying in place just like we'd like it to.
Right, and so it just kind of acts as a natural filter then as well.
Definitely, yes.
Okay, very interesting. I love that. So we want to know, though, how can consumers support the sustainability efforts of our Wisconsin dairy farmers themselves?
Right, so when you're in the store, you want to look for real Wisconsin dairy products. Look for this Proudly Wisconsin Dairy logo, a Proudly Wisconsin Cheese logo, and when you buy products that have that logo, you know you're supporting the sustainability initiatives of our dairy farmers and keeping your dollars right here in our state.
It's really interesting just to learn more, you know, behind the scenes stuff. So we appreciate the tips, especially because, you know, you go to the store, you get all the wonderful dairy products, you know, whether you're getting milk or cheese or whatnot, and you don't know what goes into it and how hard they're working, like you said, to be around for generations to come.
Definitely, always looking at what's next and how can we continue to improve our land.
Fantastic. Well, as always, we love having you here, Abigail. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Sure, and we'll look forward to your next visit.
Definitely.
Thanks so much.